fun connects you back with your inner child. And we forget like that every age of us is still with us. We carry it. We don't just go, oh, we were 8, it's gone, it's back there, and we don't have it anymore. We have all of those ages.
Welcome to the Fun and Bliss Show,
where fun is our practice
and bliss is our lifestyle.
I'm Monique.
And I'm Moneeka.
This is a show to help you laugh louder,
dance more often,
savor the silly and sacred alike,
and turn fun into a blissipline,
so we can live lives of more ease, love, prosperity, and joy.
Let's go!
Hey y'all, this is Monique, the Chief Fun Officer here at Fun and Bliss.
And this is Moneeka, the Chief Bliss Officer at Fun and Bliss. And welcome back to the Fun and Bliss Show.
We're so glad you're here. And you're going to be so glad you're here because today's conversation is an amazing one.
Yes, if you've ever felt like life has gotten a little too serious or a little too full, or like you've been showing up for everyone else and losing touch with yourself in the process, this episode is for you.
Today, we're going to be talking about joy, self-trust, authenticity, purpose, building confidence, what it really looks like to come back to yourself in a way that feels real, light, easy, and doable.
The doable is key.
Yeah.
And if you need a reminder that fun is not frivolous, joy is not an extra, and becoming more of who you really are does not have to be heavy, stay with us. This conversation is going to give you all of that.
Yes, our guest today is my friend Kim Somers Egelsee, and she brings so much warmth, wisdom, and heart to the conversation. We'll talk with her about how she found her way into this work, what joy and bliss really mean to her, how women can reconnect with fun, and why living with more ease, confidence, and purpose starts with trusting yourself.
It just feels so good, doesn't it, Monique?
It does.
So everyone settle in, because there's a lot we're going to be that you're going to love here.
Yes, but before we get into that, we're going to start how we usually start this show, which is talking about what we did for fun, because we are all about, using fun as a blissipline. It's something that we do every day. So, Moneeka, what was the last thing you did for fun?
So I am in casting right now for my movie, The Christmas Rescue. And I made an offer today to a woman to play my mom in the movie. And that conversation was super, super fun. But the funnest piece of this whole process was looking at her audition reel. So she's an Indian woman, so she's playing an Indian woman's mom, right? And she did this reel that's called Shit Indian Moms Say in America. And it was just so good. If you're listening, go look it up. It is just so good. But she did things like hit herself in the head and go, oh, Babre. She's waving around a rolling pin. When she's making chapati, she's like covered in flour, waving around this rolling pin at her daughter. She says things like, we should go back to India. That'll set you straight. I mean, it was so good. I just couldn't stop laughing, and I'm showing it to everybody. So go look at it. It's so good.
That sounds like so much fun.
So Indian. So Monique, tell us, what did you do for fun today?
Okay, so other than just having this really awesome interview with Kim, because we do the interview and then we do the intro. So that was really fun. But I also last night, I'm going to talk about something I did last night with my kids. So I've talked before about my 30-second dance party button, and my oldest was over and she was about to leave. I said, "Oh, before you go, let's do a 30-second dance party." And she was like, "Yeah, okay." So we all gathered around with a dance party. And then we just started to do the most absurd dance. Well, I put like both my arms into my legs, my pants, and we're like dancing around. Like it was just like, absurd. And we were dying laughing, and tears coming out of our eyes, and we were just like jumping around and making the most like the silliest dance moves and like bopping up and down and it was so crazy. And actually, and I actually put a picture of myself doing that in our Fun and Bliss collection.
I'm gonna go
Because our
take a
dare
look.
this week is to do like something silly. And I was like, this counts.
Was so
So
funny. Yeah. Yeah, that is awesome.
it was so funny. And we just had so much fun. So that was my fun. And then, like I said, we did this amazing interview together.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we did. We just had such a beautiful conversation with Kim Somers Egelsee.
Egglesy.
Egglesea.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. And Kim is one of my dearest friends. I've known her since now my daughter's 17, but she was a toddler. And Kim has this incredible way of making personal growth feel inviting instead of intimidating. She brings just a lot of warmth and heart and honesty to the conversation and to remind you that becoming more of who you are doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be heavy, and it can be really freeing and really easy and feel very energizing and very fun.
Mm. And here's what we love about Kim. She has this incredible way of making personal growth feel inviting instead of intimidating. She brings so much warmth, heart, and honesty to the conversation. She reminds you that becoming more of who you really are does not have to be heavy, just like what Monique said. And it can actually feel freeing. It can feel energizing. It can even feel really fun.
We are going to have to edit that out because I messed up.
I thought I was repeating
Yeah,
myself.
I was like, so maybe we start over from we just had such a beautiful conversation with Kim Somers Egelsee. How about that?
Okay, and then what do we say?
Yeah, because then that's kind of where you were like, Eggle, Eggle.
Okay,
So we'll just start from there.
hold on just a second, but we need to cut out some of this stuff so I don't
No,
forget.
I skipped the she's a coach, speaker, author, publisher. I went to the next part. I skipped. You were like, we just had a beautiful conversation with Kim Somers Egglesey, and then I
Oh,
went into yeah, I don't think I mixed the she's a coach, speaker. So that was all sorts of messed up. So let's go back.
okay, let's try it back. Let's do it. Okay. Okay, take two.
Take two. So
Yes, we did. We just had such a beautiful conversation with Kim Somers Egglesee.
yes, and Kim is one of my dearest friends. She's a coach, speaker, author, publisher, and the founder of Publishing Joy. Big surprise why we had her on the show. All about joy. Her work is all about helping people step into their gifts, trust themselves more deeply, and live with more joy, confidence, authenticity, and purpose.
And here's what we love about Kim. She has this incredible way of making personal growth feel inviting instead of intimidating. She brings so much warmth, heart, and honesty to the conversation. And she reminds you that becoming more of who you really are does not have to be heavy. It can actually feel freeing, it can be energizing, and it can even feel fun.
Exactly. And that is such a big part of what we are all about here on the Fun and Bliss Show. Fun is not frivolous, joy is not extra. These things matter. They help us come back to ourselves. They create clarity, they create freedom, and they help us build lives that actually feel really good to live in.
Yeah, and on the show, we also talked with Kim about her book, Choosing Positivity 35 Ways to Spark Joy in Your Life, and what it really means to spark joy and joy and purpose, especially in those seasons of life when you feel full, serious, or just plain overwhelmed.
Because the truth is, a lot of women are doing all the things. They're holding everything together and they're showing up for everyone else. But somewhere along the way, they lose touch with themselves. And this conversation is a beautiful reminder that you can come back and how to come back, how to choose joy again, how to choose fun, how to choose yourself.
So today we're diving into Kim's journey, what led her into her work, what joy means to her, how women can reconnect with fun, and how we all can live with a little more self-trust, purpose, and ease.
You are going to love this interview. So let's get into it.
Hey there, Kim. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're excited too. So, Kim, can you tell us? Let's start with how did you get into the work you're doing now and what lights you up about it most?
Yeah, I mean, I do quite a bunch of things under the umbrella of helping people be more confident and happy. And so that right there is something that's always been important to me. I'm a publisher, I'm an author, speaker, intuitive life and business coach. I hosted a podcast for 5 years, and all of it really under the umbrella of helping people step into their authenticity, confidence, happiness, and positive power. And then I help give them a platform to shine their gifts. And I think I really remember my first memory of that is as a kid, I would be gathering kids in the neighborhood and creating a stage in the backyard and putting on shows and entertaining the neighbors with all the kids in the neighborhood and helping them be happy. And then I'd have meetings in the clubhouse my grandpa bought me. And so it kind of all just fell into my purpose of creating women's circles and retreats and things like that. It all just came about like naturally, allowing it to come forth. And it lights me up to see people realize they have the power to be themselves and be happy and be aligned with what they really love and who they really are.
I love that.
Yeah. So I know a little bit about your story. We've been friends for a long time, Kim.
Yeah.
And I know that there have been some obviously there are ups, but then there are also downs that shaped you. So what parts of your own life have really shaped the way you coach and guide others?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't believe everyone who is a therapist or a coach or counselor or anything has to experience hardships or trauma to get it, but I do think that if you do, and that's what your journey is, it helps you in many ways. And so, there even as recent as 5 years ago, I went through breast implant illness where I was having extreme terrible symptoms. Like I felt almost like I was dying and went to 25 plus doctors, healers, specialists, didn't know what it was, figured it out finally because a friend helped me realize, and ended up struggling with drinking, having to get help for that, really hit bottom and felt in the dark for quite a while, and then had them out, worked on myself, got sober. And I feel like, sometimes you have those experiences in life where you look back and you're like, was that really me? Like that doesn't even, it almost doesn't feel like how would that happen to me? I'm normal. And, and I look back now and I don't regret anything because it made me so much more empathetic, compassionate, and non-judgmental. It definitely made me way braver and stronger and able to cope with deeper mental health issues or things going on with my own kids or with people that I work with. And so that's just one example of something that was probably one of the hardest things I've ever gone through that ended up being bright in the end, something I won't regret. And so I think for those listening, when you're going through something you feel like you'll never come back from, if you just have faith that there will be a reason, there will be some sort of light or gift from it, even though it might feel terrible, that's a better way to look at it than just wallowing in it.
It's a
That
great
is
answer.
so, wow, just so powerful. I think so many people can look at our own story and say, ah, nobody else has been through this, right? But then you hear a story like yours and you realize people go through stuff. All of us go through stuff. And really it's about what we choose to do with all of that, right? With the mindset, with our opinions and our attitudes and our heart around that. So you became a coach because of all of this. When did you, but there's got to be have been a turning point, right? When you went from being just kind of interested in making people happy, interested in uplifting people to where now you realized, oh, this is my calling. This is what I really am here to be doing. When did
Right.
that happen for you?
Right. Yeah, it wasn't from that. I became a coach way before all that happened.
Oh,
I've been doing all of this for 22 years.
mm-hmm.
So before that I was doing acting and modeling and singing in a rock group, and I also taught special ed for quite a while and loved all of those things, but never quite felt like it was my complete purpose, and always heard those whispers of like, there's something else, there's more you're supposed to do. And I had been watching Jim Rohn, got to meet him and everything over the years, and starting to study, Jack Canfield and Mark Victor Hansen and all those guys, and then started reading spiritual works from different people. And so I was attracted to studying NLP and ended up getting certified in NLP and life coaching, and realized, wait, this is what I'm supposed to actually do this. And pretty quickly after that, ended up leaving teaching special ed and working on finishing getting some certifications, as well as using my college degree, and just launched my business as a life coach. And within like a few days, I got 2 clients, and I was panicking, like, I'm really getting clients? Like, what do I do? And then it just kept going from there.
I love that. Okay, so this show is called the Fun and Bliss Show. What does living a blissful life mean to you?
Yeah, and I think Monique and I are similar. We always talk about, like, because I've always been someone who is led by, I get attracted and magnetized to fun and bliss, and I always have things on my schedule. I mean, I literally have things on my schedule all the way till December right now, that are concerts, travel, musicals, meeting friends for whatever. I get really excited. The anticipation is even part of the fun. The feeling you get, like, oh my God, I'm going to go to Europe, and what is it going to be like? And I haven't been to this part before. And of course, when you're there, it's just as fun. So I think it activates the childlike essence I've always had of just being enthusiastic, passionate, and celebrating the awe of life, where you're in awe. Like, I actually could feel this happy, and, everything looks brighter. And it's kind of like my friend who's a Unity pastor says, God made life to be like every day is Disneyland, but that's up to us. And so I really try to shape my life as much like that as possible, and make it that way for my kids and my husband as well.
I really love that. Life's supposed to be like Disneyland. Is that what you just said?
Yeah,
That's amazing. I love
right.
that. So a lot of us women are out there being productive and amazing, right? We're out there and we're being productive and responsible and always on, but we're not having fun.
Mhm.
So what do you think women need to relearn about fun and bliss?
Right. I think that it sounds crazy, but a lot of women out there need permission, first of all. So it's almost like we've been programmed as women that we're supposed to do it all, but not for ourselves. And so if we start, like on the show, I give you all permission to let go and have fun, and if it might start with just planning 3 hours a week because they have no free time, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, I like that, let me plan next week. I'm going to plan 6 hours, and then I'm going to actually block out a day. And so I think it takes discipline, like Monique says, blisscipline. It takes practice, it takes boundaries. So you must learn to say no to the things that aren't really, that don't light you up. Like, if this person brings you down, or if this, part of your profession isn't fulfilling you, maybe there's a way to eventually stop doing it, or slowly walk away from it and start doing something else. And I think that we get caught up in feeling like we're trapped, instead of going, well, let me just start with a tiptoe and then little steps, and eventually get to a place of like, okay, I can be in charge of my schedule, which I mean, I only usually work 20 hours a week, and I'm having fun and doing things with my kids the rest of the time.
I love that. So,
Yeah.
you've talked about a few things that you do for fun. So what would you say are the main things that you do for fun these days?
For the big things, I mean, I think like I would say that I average going to 2 to 4 concerts a month. Because I just love, that's one of my favorite things to do. And try to go on 3 to 4 decent sized trips a year. Some mini trips too. Like for example, next month we have, a weekend in Vegas seeing No Doubt at the Sphere. So that's like a mini trip. But just for regular everyday fun, to me it's fun to journal and to read and to color mandalas and to, act silly with my kids or play basketball with my daughter. Um, try new restaurants. I live right by the beach. So we go to the beach and just walk on the beach with the dog or something. So I think it's a different definition for everyone and they forget that something simple might be fun. It might be fun for you to just sit and look out the window and watch butterflies go by. It doesn't have to always be this thing that costs a lot of money.
Yeah, Monique and I talk an awful lot about small little fun moments. She's got her little dance button. That's what
30-second dance party.
I love it.
So yeah, it's great to just have those moments during your day. It doesn't have to be big. It can be really small, or it can be whatever you want it to be. It can be free, it can cost money, whatever, right? So all over the map. So what I love is that your publishing company is called Publishing Joy. I love that. Um, Talk to us about what joy means to you and why it's so central to all that you do, to all of your work.
Yeah, it's my middle name is Joy, and
Oh,
my partner in my publishing company's middle name is Joy. So we were like, it's just natural that we would be publishing Joy. But even like the last book I did was that Monique was in was Choosing Positivity, 35 Ways to Spark Joy into Your Life. And then the book I have coming out in May with my partner is Discover the Gift of Joy, How to Experience Joy in Work, Life, and Relationships. And my mom said that they chose Joy as a middle name because they felt like I had the energy of joy. And so I don't know if it's the combination of the name and just who I've always been, but I want other people to feel that way too. And so I would love to do that through teaching and writing and, speaking and things like that. I realized finally, like maybe 10 years ago, that you can't just go up and fix everybody. So it's better to do it on a bigger platform, because otherwise you end up burned out. So yeah.
I love that. And I have that book here, Choosing Joy,
yay!
Choosing Positivity, 35 Ways to
Yeah.
Spark Joy into Your Life. So, what inspired that project and your upcoming one, which is about the gift of joy? What are you hoping readers would receive from this?
Yeah, so the book we just did that you were in with Choosing Positivity, I got 35 amazing women that have all different stories, backgrounds, challenges. And even though some of the stories have very, like sometimes really crazy and hard to believe challenges that someone went through, they end it with talking about how they still found joy and how can you as a reader do that too. And I think that is really the message, is when people feel hopeless. Like I have people telling me they have that book on their nightstand and they're able just to open it to a chapter and go, okay, I felt like I went to sleep with hope or faith or, some sort of way that I can add joy into my life. Because I know that when you're going through a really dark challenge, it's hard to even remember your own name, let alone how to bring joy into your life. So if you learn the habit ahead of time, then you have those tools. And so that's with our next book coming out. It's a very conscious, enlightened type book. We have a lot of really deep transformational teachers and light workers in it, including we have the Dalai Lama in it. We have Marianne Williamson, Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen. So we have writings from all of them in it as well. And so there's a lot of very enlightened ways to look at discovering joy and how to heal deep aspects of yourself that might be blocking that joy.
Hmm, so good. Um, yeah. So I was really honored to be in that book and write a chapter about fun.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Surprise! Who would have thought that I would write about how to use fun for joy? But, what role do you think fun plays in, plays in sparking joy and helping women come back to themselves?
I think fun connects you back with your inner child. And we forget like that every age of us is still with us. We carry it. We don't just go, oh, we were 8, it's gone, it's back there, and we don't have it anymore. We have all of those ages. And it was funny because my daughter does acting, and she was telling me how she's been trying to reconnect to her 6-year-old self because there was something traumatic that happened at that age, and she's working on healing it. And she goes, Mom, I was doing this method acting exercise and I forgot all about the thing, and I was doing these movement exercises and dances, and all of a sudden I felt like my 6-year-old self, and I was able to connect with that aspect. And so she was having fun, moving, dancing, acting silly, carefree, letting go. That's huge, letting go. And she was able to access that side of her that was able to work on healing the trauma, but also I was having fun. I let go. And kids most of them are able to just let go. And if we get to a place where, we're at a concert and we're able, my body feels like having fun. I'm going to get up and just start moving and not worry about what anyone in the audience is looking at, because I see most people sitting down worried about what will people think. So I'm not going to get up and dance. And they're not going to have as much fun if they don't just let go and dance. And so I feel like fun adds joy, and it increases your endorphins, your feel good chemicals, the what are the ones where you go in a women's circle, and you talk about that, Monique.
Oxytocin.
Oxytocin. Yes. Fun increases those, and thus improves your mental health and helps your nervous system stay balanced.
Good.
Yeah, it's really, really good. I love this idea of, kind of losing yourself in movement. Um, and I think that, like someone like Monique, you, me, we are used to that kind of getting back into our bodies, right? And it brings us to our more authentic self, our fully embodied self, right? But everybody doesn't have full access to that for whatever reason. We're encouraging them to do it, right? So that's what this is about. But talk to me a little bit about getting into your authentic self if you don't have access to things immediately. Um, and what does that mean? Like, what does it mean to be your authentic self and come out into the world as your authentic self?
Right. And just, even if it takes a long time to get to that place where you feel like you're being your complete authentic self, once you get there, it is so much easier, freer, and lighter to live that way. And you live more joyful, you live more happy. And it took me a long time. I thought I was being completely my authentic self, even when I started my business. And I realized the first few years, I was still in that ego carrying what people think. So I think what helped me is really diving deep into studying the ego and what it is, and journaling and working with a few different healers and things like that. But even if you can't, just journal. There's so much information online that you can, do your own exercises, journal, listen to things, watch things. I love The Shift by Dr. Wayne Dyer. He talks about, what's the difference between the ego and your true self and your conscious self. And so it helped me to be aware when I was showing up as ego, when I was showing up, because the littlest things sometimes you're not realizing you're still an ego. And so if you learn how to shed the ego, then it's easier to start getting to a place of like, okay, well, I'm going to be really extra self-aware. And this next time I go out with a group of friends, I'm going to work on letting go and maybe being completely vulnerable for 10 minutes and just be very conscious of that. And then later ask myself, how did that feel? Are you okay? You didn't run away from the table crying. So you did it. And then maybe another time you're like, I'm going to actually spend the whole time I'm meeting with my friends letting go and just being myself. I'm going to dance at a concert, like I said, and so it's little steps that finally one day you can wake up and go, damn, like, of course I'm still a work in progress, but I feel like really authentic and I feel like me. And I think it's definitely possible. You guys are nodding. You probably have the same thing where you wake up and you're like, I finally did it. Like, I'm there. I'm not ego anymore. Like, at least most of the time.
Mm.
I love that. At least most of the time.
Yeah, right. We're human.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love being me.
Yeah.
Why do you think that so many women hold themselves back from being fully seen?
I think that the number one thing is that we're scared of bad feedback, negative feedback, being not liked, being not accepted, compared, to someone else, laughed at. Though that's really the number one thing. So it's fear, it's fear of what could happen and the pressure to be perfect, and that is due to maybe feeling like we don't deserve something or comparing ourselves to people online. That's why, there's such an epidemic I'm noticing of women using filters and using AI images of themselves instead of actually showing their truth of who they really are. And that's a whole nother version of that. And there's studies that show that when we do that too much, then our self-esteem actually drops because what happens is we look in the mirror and we're like, wait, I don't look perfect like my AI filtered image. I'm disgusting. And then they use the filtered AI image even more. And so I think that it might take some encouragement from other people, some permission from other people. I've had clients that felt like they were scared to put themselves out there with video. That's a really common one. And so I work with them like, okay, we're going to just do it. Okay, just act like you're talking to me, pretend the camera's not there. And once they get over the fear and it's posted and I'm like, you can't touch it, it's on my page, then they're like, I did it. I feel better. And it starts to become like not as big of a deal. So I think that, it's just getting over that mountain.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, what's the difference between confidence and performance?
Yeah. Well, just like that's a good question. It's kind of similar to authenticity versus ego. So performance, and there's been a lot of talk of that right now because there are a lot of people you see on Instagram or social media or TikTok that are like, oh, I've realized that if I perform and look the part and talk the part and say I'm this like financial guru, they'll pay me and I can just pretend and give them information that I found on ChatGPT and make all this money. And so that would be an example of performative. Or let me look the way I think that my audience wants me to look versus how do I want to look. And so I think being confident is knowing you're enough, whether or not you get 20 people giving you likes or 200 people giving you likes, knowing you're enough and loving who you are. And the rest is a bonus, but you're doing it to inspire and you're doing it for whoever is supposed to hear you, and if you're not out in the public eye, then, you're fulfilling your life's purpose for whoever your audience is or your client list is, but you're not doing it to get accolades or to make quick money, or to get attention. And I think sadly what happens with those who are being performative is a lot of times inside they're slowly feeling worse and worse and worse because they're not being their true self.
Mhm. Yeah.
I think for performance, sorry, Monique, I just feel like this was so powerful because I do feel like we talk a lot about being authentic and confident. And in our businesses and in our world, it's so valued to perform. So I loved what you had to say about that, especially with social media or whatever. Um, it is really important to distinguish the difference and why you're doing stuff. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, it's interesting because like exactly how you two are being with this show, it's showing in the most recent research for branding, marketing, and social media that people are actually being more drawn to real, imperfect, people who are talking like everyday talking, not like we're doing some big performance, at a prestigious stage and we have to talk a certain way, people are being more drawn to the everyday thing than someone who is performative. And so even just regular handheld camera videos are getting more views than those that have a big production crew. So that's refreshing, because I think people are getting sick of the fake.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
But were you implying that we're not perfect?
Is that ego? Just kidding.
I like how
talking
Moneeka
about?
like swished her hair.
Just kidding. So, what do you think helps someone rebuild back their confidence after years of shrinking, filtering, second guessing? You know, you've done a lot of work around confidence. So, what are some of the things that you think are most helpful for women to rebuild their confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, I'll give you an example of, I had a woman that was in an abusive narcissistic relationship, and she stayed for so long. I think it was like 32 years or something. And she just didn't know. I don't know. She just wasn't in a place where she felt she could leave. And she finally left, and she felt very scared of the world and timid and not confident anymore, insecure. But she was determined. And I think if you have determination deep, even if you just have to like find the little bit of determination inside, she had determination. And so she was like, I'm just going to read everything I can get my hands on, and she really couldn't afford much. So she was just talking to people that she knew and getting feedback on, what do you think my strengths are? And it was helping her go, oh, okay, I see that too. Like, I do have that. And when they told her strengths, it helped her remember. So she started letting out, like, oh, I do have this empowering presence. I am a good listener. I am patient. And so I think that really started to help. And then I remember talking to her. I was working with her years ago, and I remember talking to her about choices. And I said, you no longer make those choices that make you feel low or insecure or negative. You have to start making the choices of your dreams, visions, and goals, and the way you want your future to be. So sometimes that does mean she had to let go of some of those people that were there when she was with her ex, that were drama and complaining and bringing her down, even though those people got angry at her. And it hurt her for a little while, but then she felt better later, and she's like, thank God I did that. And so it's a process for sure. But that's another thing, like how I said, you could wake up feeling like you're authentic and free. You also can wake up going, I feel confident finally. Like, confidence can be learned, which is really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kim, I'm an introvert, and I used to be quite the wallflower in all the way through high school until I left for college. People would never guess that now, because
Yeah.
I think it is a learned skill. And I've been blessed to be around a lot of people who are willing to teach me, willing to be patient with me, and also willing to model what confidence really looks like in a way that I wanted to emulate. Because confidence does also look different on different people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we also have a choice in how we show up in that confidence, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, you were talking about superpowers. Like, what is your superpower? So I want to ask you, what is your natural superpower? The thing that you do best when you're not trying?
I would say intuition, because I'm very intuitive, and I feel blessed that I don't get intuition just one way. I get it all the ways, like clairvoyance, claircognizance, clairsentience, all of it. I probably get claircognizance the most. So I'll know something without knowing how I know it. It'll just come in, and I actually will feel this kind of like an energy coming in through my brain, and I get answers to things, guidance, and I'm able to help people. And so I feel like very blessed to be able to, I think we all have that, but to be able to actually use it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Um, I've gotten to benefit from that superpower. Oftentimes in our conversations, like, I'm getting this download.
Oh, likewise.
Yeah. So how do you think women can stay connected to their purpose without turning it into pressure?
Mm.
Yeah, that's a hard one. I think paying attention to how they feel. So your body's gonna tell you the answers with that. And I understand that sometimes if you have a big purpose, maybe the first several years or 5 years or more, you may need to hustle and be a go-getter a little more than you will later because you want to build. And so that's understandable. Depending on what your business is. You know, I went into the publishing thinking that I was going to probably add another 20 hours a week. And I've been working that saying, work smarter, not harder. I've been just scheduling so careful and knowing what I'm doing. And it ends up that I'm really not that often working more than 20, 25 hours a week, just sometimes. And so I think listening to your body, like, do I feel overloaded? Is this, you know, feeling like burnout? And then what can I do to adjust that? And it may be that you can't do it all. You might need to hire someone. You might need to take an extra year to build rather than build all at once. You know, there's different things you can do. And I think for those who can't, because I understand sometimes for financial reasons, someone might have to work 50 hours a week, then I think finding, you know, telling your mind, okay, I have a 10-minute break. I'm going to go walk around the block and take breaths and look at the birds. I am relaxing. And you literally just tell your brain that, and it works. It helps your whole nervous system go, oh, okay. And you'll think that 10 minutes felt like 40 minutes because of how you were conscious of that 10 minutes.
I love that. I'm going to do that. Tell my brain I'm relaxing. I love that. What do you think is a forgotten truth, Kim, about staying blissful or keeping life fun that you think everybody should remember?
Say, like, this is a common cliche one, but I would say don't take life so seriously. Don't take yourself so seriously. I think that if we can laugh at ourselves and be silly and ridiculous several times a day, and that is a form of letting go. That is a form. Bob Marley talked about, you know, the art of vulnerability is true freedom. You know, I don't know if that's the exact quote, but basically. But I think that if we can practice letting go and being silly, which is fun, then, you know, it might be something like, let me play Twister with my husband, or, like, you know what I mean? It might be something silly, but the more you can practice letting go, even if you're in the car by yourself and you sing at the top of your lungs, or you scream, or, you know, make faces and nobody else knows, it's still practicing letting go and not taking life so seriously.
Mm. So, you know, that might be the similar answer, but when life gets heavy or really serious, where do you think people get stuck?
In the emotions of,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, in
right.
the emotions. And I'm guilty of that sometimes, you know, like I remember we just went to Hawaii in January and I got some weird bug and half the trip was like messed up because I didn't feel well, and then I got home and caught the flu from my daughter on top of the bug. So I had two things and it kept lasting. And so I kind of caught myself for a few days getting caught up in feeling frustration. And like, I can't go do anything and this sucks and I'm sick of feeling this way. And I finally caught myself going, wait a minute, this is making it way worse. So I'm probably keeping myself sick. And so it took some conscious reprogramming myself, kind of wrote out how I felt in my journal, and that helped get it out. And then started to reframe it and go, okay, this is rest time. There's a reason for this, you know, that kind of thing. So not getting stuck in the emotions of it. And it might literally be shaking your emotions out, like jumping up and down and going out and standing in the grass with your bare feet, whatever, or coloring. That is a great way, like, just to get your kind of your emotions stabilized.
Mm,
So that leads
good.
into this other idea of um, sometimes it's just hard to reconnect, right? To soften and reconnect and really let those emotions out, like feel safe to do that, right? So, what do you suggest around that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes we as women get so used to holding it all together
Hmm.
that we train our body to hold it all in because we can't be seen falling apart, you know. And so I find that it helps to watch, like sometimes I'll watch sad movies, or watch something that I know will make me cry. And then I realize like, okay, I know I'm not just crying about this. It's like other stuff coming out. But I think that really helps. I think talking to someone you really trust that you could open up with will help, like to consciously say, okay, I'm going to allow myself to talk about this. Because I think what happens is we get scared of the emotions that we're going to look ridiculous and fall apart in front of someone. So it has to be someone that we totally trust. Even sometimes looking in the mirror and just being like, okay, I know you're sad. You're allowed to let it out. So there's different things, but again, it's like permission to just go, you are human. It's okay if you fall apart for a day.
So good. I'm curious, what are some of like your go-to sad movies?
Well, I cry over sentimental movies. So like I love the movie Green Book. Like I always cry with that movie. That's a wonderful movie. It just like something about it. Or like just like sappy movies like When Harry Met Sally, yeah, I don't know, or just Disney movies.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Now we're like making a note. What's really exciting you right now, like in your life?
I would say, okay, so my kids always excite me. So what they're doing excites me. And they're both doing stuff with performing arts. So I live through them as well, like, in a healthy way. Just I get excited for them with them. And I love doing the publishing company. I'm excited because I'm having another red carpet book launch in May for the book that's always fun because Monique knows she's been to the last two. Like we have music, and the last one we had dancing and
it's a real party.
speakers. Yeah, red carpet. So I would say that, but then like in my personal life, I would say I'm most excited we're traveling most like we're seeing right now, but we most likely are going to Europe this summer.
Ooh.
So my dad's worried about the gas prices, but we'll see.
Awesome. Are you going with your dad?
My parents usually go with us. Like when we go.
Travel.
Yeah, they're like, I'm an only child and my parents are my best friends. And so they're very young spirited. And so they usually, not every trip, but they travel with us quite a bit.
Our parents are
That's
awesome.
fun. Yeah, that's really fun.
Yeah.
I used to do that with my parents too when they could travel. So that's really amazing. Kim, if listeners could try one tiny, meaningful experiment this week to bring them more fun, more joy, or more bliss, what would you invite them to try?
I would say, so what's coming to me is to love yourself more. And what's been working for me well with doing that is to start working on accepting yourself for your imperfections. So I used to be in the habit of looking in the mirror and finding imperfections. And even today, I had to go film a bunch of videos for a promo thing that we're doing. And the first thought in my head was, oh, you have a double chin in all the videos. And then I went, you know what? I'm 52. I look damn good. Like, I look cute. It makes me look younger. It's fine. And the imperfections make people like you more. And so there, I reframed it. And the same thing whenever I put my foot in my mouth and maybe say something silly or, do something dumb, then instead of going, oh, I'm so stupid, which is what people do, then I will say like, oh, well, I'm human. Oh, that was so funny that I did that, And so I've been really working on embracing my imperfections, which in turn is helping me love myself more, which in turn affects confidence and authenticity.
Yeah, I love that. I always, if I do something, I just go, I'm so adorable. Like I think of myself as like a little toddler that's fallen on her.
I love that.
Like, your butt. I'm just like, I am so cute. Look at me.
Yes, compassion for self.
And I'm like, oh, how cute am I to make that mistake? Adorable. All right, so it's time for our fun and bliss laser round.
Okay.
And so what's your go-to when you need an instant joy boost?
I would say watching Friends.
Okay, for sure. Nice.
Okay. And what's one totally silly thing that never fails to make you laugh?
My daughter doing impersonations of Damon Wayans and Jim Carrey.
I
That
have to
sounds
see that.
awesome. Yeah.
All right, finish this sentence. Bliss for me looks like.
Being in nature.
Mm.
Oh, I love that. And Kim, what's the best way for people to connect with you and find out more about your beautiful, amazing, joyful self?
Yeah, so publishing-joy.com is the publishing website. And then my website for me is kimsomerseggelsee.com, which it's Kim and then SOMERSEGELSEE, or at Kim Life Coach on Instagram.
Amazing. And we'll put the links in the show notes for everyone.
For those of you that see the podcast or watch this on YouTube.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Kim, thank you so much. That was amazing.
Thank you. It was so fun. I noticed like all three of us, we have this, like all of us have similar smiles.
Yes.
Like we're not our age, we're our energy. Like we have this vibrancy, and that is because of having fun.
I believe it. Yes.
It is. It is.
100%.
It is actually interesting. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, Kim and Monique, but you're out in the world and then you meet somebody and you're like, that person looks like me. And they may be whatever color or tall, short, fat, thin, whatever. But if they've got that energy, right? The fun energy, you feel magnetized to them,
Mhm.
right? Everybody feels magnetized to them, but you feel like you met a soul sister, right?
Yep.
So, and I definitely feel like we had that today. So nice to meet you, Kim.
You too. Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you for being here. It was so fun. Wow, that was such a beautiful and uplifting conversation with Kim Somers Egelsee, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, she was so bright and so lovely. And what I loved about her, about this conversation was her perspective. I think the thing that I took the most of was her perspective on confidence versus performance. I think so many of us spend so much time performing. We're performing our confidence, but we're not feeling it inside. And I just loved her beautiful perspective on how to bring the confidence back and not worry so much about performance.
Oh, that was such a great point. Also, I mean, the thing that really stayed with me and what she models so beautifully is to schedule that fun, prioritize it. She talked about having fun scheduled throughout the whole year. And I know she, and since I've been friends with her for a long time, I know because we have several fun things scheduled together, for the week, the year to do together. And and then also there are the big things that she schedules, but also all of the little things, the beach walks, having fun with the kids and game nights and all of the little ways that you can put fun. And it was a really beautiful example of how you do it.
Yeah. She, that's something we keep coming back to right here on the Fun and Bliss show is all of those small intentional choices that matter, right? That can really make life feel lighter, more joyful, more aligned, and more like it's your own rather than somebody else's.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's all about, those choices. So choose joy, choose fun, choose bliss.
Choose bliss, yeah. Choose to listen in.
Yeah. And choose to listen again. And also choose to share this conversation with somebody else. But yeah, honestly though, if this conversation resonated with you, let this be a nudge. Right? Take one small step this week, make space for a little more fun. Follow what brings you joy. Maybe let go of something that doesn't. Ask yourself what helps you feel most like you, and then honor the answer. And maybe one small step will be you joining us in the Fun and Bliss Collective, which is our community for women choosing to practice fun as a discipline, to live bliss as their lifestyle. So you can find the link to that on our website at funandbliss.com.
Funandbliss.com. Can you guys believe that we actually got that URL? Like, I'm still ecstatic. Funandbliss.com. It's just fun to say.
Yeah. And it's
And
even more fun to live. So
exactly. I love it. Anyways, if you'd also like to learn more about Kim and her work, you can find out more at publishing-joy.com or at kimsomerseggelsee.com. And Somers is Somers, and Egelsee is Egelsee.com. And you can re-listen, you can re-watch this show on YouTube or re-listen to it anywhere podcasts are played.
And again, if you enjoyed this conversation, please share it with someone who you think could use a little bit more joy, encouragement, permission in their life.
And if you haven't already, be sure to follow us at the Fun and Bliss Show so you never miss an episode.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us.
Until next time.
Keep choosing fun.
And keep living your bliss.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning in to the Fun and Bliss Show,
where fun is our practice
and bliss is our lifestyle.
If this episode sparked your joy,
share it, subscribe, and join the movement.
Stay fun,
stay blissful,
and see you next time.